What happens to a person when life never lets them catch their breath, when every time they stand up, something knocks them back down again, when struggle stops being a moment and becomes a cycle and a way of life? At some point, they stop waiting for good news. They start bracing for the next blow. Smiling becomes rare. Hope becomes something they don't fully trust, and pain becomes a language only they understand. This isn't just sadness or bad luck. It quietly rewires the mind and shapes how someone sees themselves, the world, relationships, and even the future. Going through too much isn't a single event, it's the accumulation of experiences that pile up faster than someone can heal from them. It can be recurring trauma like emotional or physical abuse, betrayal, abandonment, repeated loss, or the pressure of life like poverty, illness, endless responsibility being needed by everyone but supported by no one, or the randomness of life, bringing things you never saw coming. Individually, these things hurt, but together they reshape the brain, because when pain becomes a pattern, the mind adapts and builds new internal systems and survival strategies. People who endure too much often develop hypervigilance and emotional numbing, constantly scanning for danger, even in safe places, and feeling life through a dimmer switch because the brain is trying to protect them. Their inner script gets rewritten into beliefs like maybe I don't deserve happiness, people always leave, if I expect nothing, I won't get hurt, and good things don't happen to people like me. These become unconscious templates that shape decisions and expectations. Many fall into repetition, compulsion, and relive familiar pain because the mind finds predictable suffering safer than unpredictable happiness. Distrust, isolation, emotional walls, and becoming the strong silent type are common because vulnerability once cost them too much. Some develop hardened strength and resilience, while others become emotionally fragile from carrying too much for too long. Hard experiences can shift meaning and worldview, making some lose faith and others cling to purpose or transform through post-traumatic growth. All these patterns happen because the brain prioritizes survival over happiness and chooses safety over joy, predictability over peace, and numbness over pain. These adaptations are not flaws, they are the mind saying, I need to protect you. But staying in survival mode too long makes it hard to live freely. The cost of carrying too much shows up as chronic distrust, emotional withdrawal, anger, anxiety, depression, avoidant relationships, and feeling unworthy. Turning life into something you cope with instead of experience. Yet going through too much doesn't make you weak, it shapes you. People rebuild by rewriting their narrative, letting connection happen slowly, turning pain into purpose, and becoming helpers, healers, protectors, creators, or leaders, allowing healing to be imperfect, and treating themselves with kindness they never received. If this feels familiar, know that your pain is not your identity. Your past is not your destiny, and your scars are proof that you survived something that could have destroyed you. This is not the end of your story, it's the chapter before transformation. Let your past refine you, not define you. Because those who endure the most often develop the deepest strength, the quietest courage, and the most extraordinary souls. And here is the deeper truth behind all of this, a truth most people never see. People who have gone through too much become masters at hiding their pain. Not because they want to deceive others, but because they learned long ago that most people cannot hold the weight of their truth. So they shrink themselves, they stay quiet, they say I'm fine when they're not. And they carry storms inside their chest with a smile that looks convincing enough to avoid questions. They become experts at emotional self-sufficiency, not out of pride, but out of necessity. They learn to read energy instead of words. Because experience taught them that danger often begins in the shifts you feel rather than the words you hear. They become incredibly empathetic, sensing pain in others instantly because they recognize the micro-expressions, the pauses, the forced laughter, and the quiet desperation that mirrors their own. Their sensitivity becomes a form of intelligence that allows them to understand people on a level that feels almost psychic. But this empathy comes with a cost, because they often give more than they receive, pouring into others even when their own cup is empty. They know what it feels like to be alone in the dark, so they refuse to let others suffer that way, even if it drains them. Many of them also develop a deep philosophical side, questioning life, meaning, purpose, and their place in the world. Pain forces them to dig where others would simply walk away. They analyze themselves, their patterns, their wounds, and the behavior of those around them. They become thinkers, observers, and internal explorers of the human condition. And while some see only the scars, underneath them lies a level of emotional wisdom that can't be taught, only earned. People who have gone through too much often carry a quiet longing for peace. Not excitement, not chaos, just peace. They crave stability more than pleasure, authenticity more than attention, depth more than noise. They value little things like consistency, honesty, loyalty, eye contact that feels genuine, effort that doesn't need to be begged for, and love that feels safe instead of unpredictable. They are not hard to understand, they just need to feel safe enough to be understood. With time and the right kind of support, they begin to soften again, slowly, carefully. Like a flower that finally receives sunlight after too long in the cold. They start to trust again, not blindly the way they once did, but wisely, with boundaries and discernment. They learn that healing doesn't erase the past, it simply teaches the heart how to breathe without fear. And perhaps the most beautiful part is this. People who have endured too much often become the ones who love the deepest, who forgive the most gently, who show up the most consistently, because they know the value of what they never received. Their strength is quiet, humble, and real. Born from nights they thought they wouldn't survive, and mornings they forced themselves to keep going. If you are one of these people, understand this. You are not broken, you are becoming. You are not weak, you are rebuilding. You are not behind, you are growing in ways others cannot see. Your story is still unfolding, and the chapters ahead will not look like the ones behind you. You deserve rest, you deserve softness, you deserve a life that doesn't hurt to live. And even if you don't fully believe that yet, one day you will. Because people who have gone through too much eventually learn that surviving was only the first step. Living again is the next.